And we're back with Tom the contractor. What
Yep.
rough budget were we working with once you'd seen the property and been able to scope it out?
I close renovation, like the budget was around 20 grand for these ones, maybe a little bit more, just because by initial budget we weren't going to do tile and stuff in the bathroom, but then we just made the executive decision just put tile in there. So we're looking at like between 20 and 25, I would think, for these units. But we're easily doubling the rents.
Well, that's your laundry closet. Got a filler panel to hide it behind it. Bathroom's close. I got tile this week. Just gotta do some paint touches around the edging.
You know, if you go back to the original BRRRRing Elias Street, I'm all about used appliances and really trying to stretch your dollar.
Yep.
How practical is that when we're trying to do 8 units at once?
It's,
You're
yeah,
trying
I'm
to
not.
have it be cooked. What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and we're back with Tom the contractor. If you guys haven't seen Tom before, he's been on the channel. Well, actually, he was on the channel a long time ago when we went through a couple of your own BRRRR projects. But then recently, we've had you on the channel because you've been really just taking the lead for us on BRRRRing a bunch of apartment buildings. So today, we're going to be checking in on one of the units that you recently BRRRRed. And before we even get into this project, Tom, do you mind to maybe just give some perspective to the audience? What's your day-to-day like, or what's your average week look like for Tom? Because you're not just the only guy swinging a hammer, right?
Yeah, I'm managing a bunch of employees these days. So we got, I think, around 8 or 9 guys that I'm trying to teach all the aspects of renovation of flipping apartment buildings and units and everything. It's definitely been a learning experience with me on dealing with employees. It's different. Everyone needs different helps in different situations, and everyone has different home lives and all that stuff. So that's definitely been a steep learning curve for me. Basically, the day-to-day life for me for the last couple of weeks is this project we're working on is in Chatham, and I live in close to downtown London. So it's basically commuting roughly an hour and a half just to get to Chatham. So I pick up all the guys, or they come to my house in the morning, and we hit the road, and we leave at 8, get to Chatham around 9:30, close to 10 some days, which kind of sucks because in a way it feels like we're losing productivity and every 4 guys sitting in the truck getting paid, and then you get there, it's 10 o'clock, and it's almost lunchtime, and you're like, we haven't done much. So that's definitely it's been a unique experience for the traveling. But we basically, we started in, I think, April or March, these units, and we started with 8 units, pretty much like right off the hop.
And this was a building where we acquired it, right? And there was a bunch of existing vacancies.
Yeah, exactly. And so far we finished 3, and there's three more that are relatively close to finish. And then we're going to be trying out a larger construction company to help take over some of the other 3 units, because you guys are expanding extremely fast, and there is probably 20 something vacancies now with in Chatham and then St. Thomas and everything. So we're a little undergunned for manpower, capable manpower, because it's hard to find reliable guys to be able to handle all these. So we're going to try a construction company. They've sent us quotes for the last 3 units in Chatham, and we're going to do a video on going through their quotes to compare their prices to ours. We can save money in some ways, but then they give you a guaranteed price type thing. So in a way, that's good, because then you know exactly what your price is going to be. With me, it might take a few extra hours here and there. And travel times included in our price too, and in their price they didn't have any. And that's a big expense for us these days. It's just travel time. But yeah, we just finished a unit recently, and we're going to shoot some, or go through the videos before and after.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a commentary for them.
Yeah, and so really appreciate you laying down that context for us. And I've got the before video up here, so we'll jump into it in a second. But I'm sure people are curious, when you're approaching 8 vacant units at once, you've got, half a dozen, 9 guys working for you on these projects. how do you go about approaching that? Do you order all the materials at once? Do you take it a unit at a time? You are doing different stages at different times?
We try to focus on like 3 units at the most type thing for certain aspects. Like we actually did a lot of the demo first. So I have a bunch of just laborers, and then they can just each unit and demo everything, and then they go to the next one and the next one. They just keep working, filling all the bins. So like the 8 units, they've all been demoed, so they're ready for new stuff. But then we're mainly focused on just finish 3, get them ready, rent it out, have that money start coming in to help offset all the other costs. So we're like 3 to 4 units is what we try to just focus on in the buildings anyways. And as for ordering material, we usually order enough for the 3 to 4 units. So we order enough flooring, several thousand square feet of flooring, and then all the trim. And for my quoting process, I just walk through all the units and I take measurements of everything and how many doors we need, and I figure out all the kitchen layouts. And then I make a big spreadsheet. I think we went through the.
Yeah. So we actually have a whole video, guys, where Tom goes through kind of line by line with us on the spreadsheets. So we'll throw a link in the video description down below, because it really is a great breakdown that just I think really helps people understand how you really just lay out the project of the size as well as track it. Because for a lot of people, especially if it's your first project, it can be really intimidating. And I think a lot of people build it into an even bigger issue than it is. Like, how could I track it? I don't start writing things down. That's step one, right? And then let's improve the system afterwards.
Yeah. And like, it's definitely an experience thing, knowing when to get certain materials too. Because you like order your kitchens to arrive on like the first day, because then they'll just be in the way and everything. So you want to start with like the demo, and then framing, and then all your rough electrical and plumbing. And then once that's all finished and passed, then you can drywall and get paint and flooring and then trim and everything. So there's definitely a certain order of doing these renovations.
All right, so I'm going to bring up the photo now of the before. So thankfully you shot this on your Instagram, or else we wouldn't even have documentation of it. But so I guess if you don't mind, I'd love to even get some context. When we're planning out projects like this, we're actually starting to plan before we even close on the deal, right? So you already knew there was going to be some vacancies. Had you already walked through the unit?
I think we walked through the units before closing with Jeff, just to see what we were getting into.
And that just kind of lets you get a rough feel of the approximate kind of degree of renovations necessary. Like, shit, this hasn't been touched since the 1950s, or like, okay, this is just going to be a quick update. So here's unit 203. This is one of our Chatham properties, right?
Yep, Chatham.
All right, so jumping into it. So I guess first things first, I'd love to hear, what do you look for when you're walking through these units and we're going to be renovating it?
For our units, the biggest thing is that we are always trying to add laundry to these units, and we're going to be trying to add dishwashers. So
is that like two of the constraints that you first start figuring out? Where are these Jenga?
One of the biggest things is like, okay, where can I put in the laundry? Can I steal it from a closet? Do I have to put it in the kitchen? Because this unit, we had to put it in the kitchen just because behind that toilet there is a closet in a bedroom. And like sometimes we put the laundry in the closet. Like here would have been perfect to put the laundry, but there's a tenanted unit below, and we can't, and it's a concrete floor, a precast floor. So it would be a real pain in the ass to try to get plumbing over there. We've done that in 2 of the other units here in Chatham, where the top and lower unit have been vacant. So we can send the plumbers in, and they can bust up the concrete on the lower unit and then just drop drains and stuff to add laundry into a better location. But for this unit, we had to put it in the kitchen just because there was no other easy place to put it. And it looks great. We got brand new washers and dryers, and it matches all the cabinetry, and the units rent a lot better when there's washers and dryers and dishwashers. So that's things we look for. And then it's trying to open up the space to make it feel bigger. the old kitchen was boxed in. There was a big wall.
So right here,
we ripped out that wall, opened it all up, and then put an island basically where that wall is now.
And so I know for a lot of new investors, you know, they maybe watched a couple episodes of HGTV. It looks really cool when Scott McGilvery's like, we're just going to blow out this wall. And then like the computer just magically does it for him. But when you guys are walking into this, you know, how do you approach that?
Basically for that, you have to figure out if it's like a load bearing wall. Kind of have to look at the roof structure and see where, like, is this load bearing? In this case, it's not. The far wall on the right is a block wall, and the roof trusses are sitting on that. So we felt 100% safe for taking out these two walls. So you have to know a little bit of structure.
And then just kind of chatting about some of the finishes here that are in this unit. I know back in the day, definitely 2016, Matt, I would have been trying to save some of these floors in the kitchen, but when we're trying to do this at scale, that's not nearly as practical, is it?
Yeah, no, all our units, we basically take out everything. All the floors, most of the trim, if the trim's still like Victorian like that, we can just add like a shoe molding once we install the floors to try to save, but most of the time everything's coming out, especially like these units, because all the kitchens and everything are just super dated. And the bathrooms, we completely gutted all those too and put in all new tile and everything, which definitely is an increased expense. But the finished product is nicer. The units will look nicer longer because we put in tile, and then tile's super durable compared to just having vinyl.
And then so once you walk through this property, you figured out, okay, yep, we can add laundry, probably space for a dishwasher. We're going to remove this non-load bearing wall to really open up the living space. What rough budget were we working with once you'd seen the property and been able to scope it out?
Close renovation, like the budget was around 20 grand for these ones, maybe a little bit more, just because by initial budget, we weren't going to do tile and stuff in the bathroom, but then we just made the executive decision, just put tile in there. So we're looking at like between 20 and 25, I would think, for these units. But we're easily doubling the rents. Some of the units, like the unit across the hall, I think the guy's only paying like $600 a month, something ridiculous. And we've gotten like, I think close 1,700 for these units now. So we're easily doubling the rents. And then with commercials, it's commercial units. It's all about that rent income, which affects the building. So if you can increase the rent that much, you just easily cover the cost of that renovation through whenever you guys end up refinancing these bigger properties.
Yeah. And so for people at home that are listening to this, $25,000. Now you're like an employee, and we've got employees in this business. So does that include the labor cost, or is this just the materials that's that 20 to 25?
No, that includes most of the labor too.
And so you guys do a lot of the general demo, a lot of the general construction, and then we're outsourcing anything that's kind of on the electrical side. Is that how it works?
We have a licensed electrician that comes in. He has the ESA permits and all that stuff. So the stuff is getting thumbs up from them. And we have a licensed plumber that comes in and does all the rough-ins for the bathrooms and the kitchens and all that stuff. Yeah.
And so how does that work coordinating with these guys when you're also running your own crew? Are you giving them like months in advance notice? Is it a couple weeks? Does it depend upon the type of relationship you have with them? Has it changed over time?
It's for the plumber, like you usually just need like a week notice. He's pretty flexible. We give him a lot of work. Like we've been keeping his guys busy. He's even had to hire more plumbers just because we've been given so much work with all our buildings, and all the buildings you guys seem to buy always have plumbing.
Yeah, that is true.
So he's really good. Like if there's a leak or something, he'll drop his tools and come fix it. And the electrician, he's just like solo guy. So he owns his own company. He's been an electrician for 4 years or whatever. So he's pretty flexible. He only has a few other jobs he works on occasionally, but we keep him pretty much full time for the last few months, just because it's just every unit, it's all new electrical. We're putting all new panels, all new lights. So electricians and plumbers are pretty important on these jobs.
And so when do we decide when we need a new panel or new electrical or new lights? What, when you're looking at a unit, what kind of indicates that for you?
Like a lot of these units, they have the old panels, like even smaller. Some of them still have breakers, but the panels aren't big enough because we're adding laundry and dishwasher.
Right.
And those are all single switch things. A lot of the older units have the fuse panels, so they're just those glass things. So we have to swap those out. And panel, like, there's definitely been a shortage, and we've had a couple issues with getting panels and breakers and everything, but things have been getting better recently. Yeah, pretty much upgrade everything.
Yeah, appreciate the perspective, because I know for a lot of people, it's just it can be very intimidating going into the unknown, right? And they're constantly like, do I need to replace everything? Is everything fine? And at the end of the day, if you're not an expert, that's where you need to lean on and rely on experts, right? And so I think we've also got, and I haven't actually even seen this video, I don't think myself, but part of the work in progress here. So do you mind just kind of chatting through with us
Sure.
a little bit about this? So essentially, we've now opened up the wall. Looks like you've got your new panel.
Yep. So that old wall's gone. We started patching the whole drywall where the old wall used to be. We've already got cabinets and countertops installed. Countertop guy, he's super quick sometimes. Like, it's like 3-4 days turnaround time after measuring. And we got the plumbing roughed in for the laundry right there. Floors are in. I think just the bathtub's installed in this one. So we still got to drywall everything and waterproof the shower and all that. The electrician's already been in. He's got hot lights already run. But yeah, floors are in. Most of the trim looks like it's in this video.
And then just chatting through maybe some of the less like aesthetically pleasing upgrades, but are there other things that we do to these properties to make it more easy to manage? So, I know with a lot of these older apartment buildings, sometimes there's not like water shutoffs in the unit for like individual sinks and things like that. Do you mind maybe just chatting through that a bit?
To the left there is the water heater. And that's the main shutoff to the units. So basically, we just go in there, and they have the old ball valves, which look like a garden hose shutoff type thing, something like that. And we always change those out to the I think I said the name wrong. Gate valve is what they're on.
Right.
Get into a ball valve, which is a easier closing, more secure water shutoff. You definitely want to have good water shutoffs for on all your fixtures, because some of the old ones, if you just like twist it just a little bit, it just starts leaking, and you're kind of shit out of luck because water coming everywhere.
And it never happens at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. It seems like it's always on weekends and evenings that those things happen, right?
Yeah. And luckily, our plumbers do work weekends, if we call them, and it's water's raining from the roof.
And then before we get into kind of the after photos, which I think I just got from our leasing agent, but
nice.
When we're kind of looking at these bigger projects, we kind of keep things separate in regards to, we're not pulling you off of a job site to quickly go dabble with something else too often these days, right? Like, as we've kind of scaled things, have we been changing roles and responsibilities, or do you mind just laying that out a bit?
We've hired a couple guys that have their own tools and trucks and stuff, so they're more responsible for like the handyman type stuff, and I'm more of I'm still hands-on project manager. I'm still going there and helping do stuff and teaching the guys how to do stuff, but they're definitely getting better. Like, there's 4 guys working on a unit right now in London here, and then another 2 guys working on another unit, and then there's 3 guys in Chatham right now. So there is still work getting done while I'm sitting here on a computer, which is still a good feeling, I guess. But we're still gonna need more skilled guys with all their trucks and vehicles and all that stuff, just because there's just so much work that's available right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the after video up here that I'll pull up.
All right, so here's 203. It's pretty close to being finished. Just some finishing touches here and there. Handles on the fridge and stuff. But that's here, and paint those ceiling. But that's your laundry closet. Got a filler panel to hide it behind it. Bathroom's close. I got tiled this week. Just gotta do some paint touches around the edging, the ceiling, and the clean up. Vanity and toilet got put in today. Got to put in the mirror and the light bulbs there. But and then these bedrooms are pretty much done. So yeah, this one's that's rented out for next month. So cool.
Obviously, it's very beautiful transformation in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. So there's your finished product. Island, big island in the middle, lots of countertop space. Everything's fully painted. All those pot lights are brand new. We had to run those up in the attic. We got all new cabinets from Rona. Backsplash, quartz countertop. We got laundry. That laundry almost didn't fit. It was so tight to wedge that in there. But
it looks great though, and definitely very value add for your average tenant to be able to have that in-suite laundry.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, brand new everything in this unit. So everything came out really nice.
And are most of our finishes exactly like this, or is it different unit by unit?
We're going back more in, like, this is like probably one of the last units we're going to be doing black hardware. We're going to probably just switch back into satin nickel and stuff, just because it's a lot easier to just get cheaper. Not like cheaper, but it's just easier to get all chrome and satin nickel and stuff. So we'll be kind of switching on that. But everything else, this is basically what you get. This is what our washers and dryers look like. And this is what the fridges and microwaves and stoves we usually get. There's definitely a shortage of appliances right now.
Mm-hmm.
Property managers like running all over the place trying to find stuff. And Appliance Canada is where we usually get stuff. I'm like, yep, we don't have any fridges. We don't have any stoves. Those washers and dryers you can't get anymore right now. So right now it's going to be like, but we have like 8 more units that we finish, and we need appliances for all of those. What are we going to do? So even air conditioners, I had to go to some electronic place on Dundas yesterday to buy air conditioners for them. So.
And then, so again, just to frame this for anyone that's maybe been watching my YouTube channel for the last several years, if you go back to the original BRRRRing Elias Street, I'm all about used appliances and really trying to stretch your dollar.
Yeah.
How practical is that when we're trying to do 8 units at once?
Yeah, I'm not going to Habitat for Humanity to buy 30 and 10 stoves and 10 microwaves, 10 fridges. It's just not viable. But like for beginner investors, go Habitat for Humanity. Go buy those used stuff, clean it up, make it look nice. As long as it works, the tenants don't really care that much.
Yeah. And again, it really does depend upon the finishes, kind of the type of tenant you're looking to attract, as well as, again, where you're at as an investor, right? Back in 2016, I was willing to sacrifice more time in order to save some of that money, because I was really trying to stretch my capital as far as I could take it. Where these days, got more comfortable with raising capital and more comfortable with using leverage really to my advantage. And so that allows us to go in and do some higher quality and higher end finishes, attracting higher income. And it works out overall because we're able to service any of that additional cost or debt from the additional income based upon just kind of what's going on in the market these days as well.
Yeah.
And then, so this is kind of our standard flooring and paint color as well.
Yep. Coventry gray, and then iceberg flooring, I think is the color. And this is our bathroom, pretty standard. We just use the 4x12 subway tile. These mirrors and vanities are just Home Depot special. Same with the toilets and everything. And sometimes you can get the bathroom fixtures on sale or in clearance and stuff, so you can save some. I try to save some money there sometimes.
And then new doors, it looks like, as well, and all that's been updated.
Yep, all new doors and handles, new trim, all new baseboard heaters, closet doors, shelves, rods, all that. Don't mind that light switch.
And then, so all the windows in this unit we were able to just kind of keep or maintain. And do you end up just painting around the trim and casing, or is there anything done there?
Yep, they're already vinyl windows, so there's no need to replace them. Only if they're like cracked or damaged or something, we actually replace them. But yeah, we just trim them out, paint the trim, and hang curtains, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome, Tom. Well, do you remember from kind of start to finish, how long did this project end up taking to execute?
This one, just because we finished 2 other units beforehand and demoed all the other ones, like I think freaking video there said March. So I'm like, for me, it felt like a long fucking time, because like we're like working in Victoria some day, or here in London. So like some days it's only 4 days in Chatham, and then not. To me, I feel like these projects are taking way too long. And
so I guess looking at it, if we were just tackling one project, one unit at a time, what would you generally estimate to renovate this?
Like a month to 5 to 6 weeks, easy. Should
and would that be like the whole crew going at the entire time? Is that a couple people, or is there certain times where there's downtime in between trades or delays or supplies?
If everything's lined up, there should always be something you could be able to work on. You can order all your trim and have some guy painting it in another unit while the electrician's doing all the stuff. So then when he's done, then it's so like with this unit, we have lots of other units we can send guys to work on and stuff like that. So we just focused on a few units and had other guys go to different units to keep working on it. So like in the grand scheme of things, everything it's going to work out to roughly a month, but it's just it's not currently.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate you breaking this down for us, Tom, because I know for so many real estate investors, it's a mystery box, right? Getting into these larger apartment buildings, renovating them, trying to scale this. So just all your experiences and perspectives really do add value to the channel. And before we wrap up here, you love real estate, investing, and contracting so much that not only do you do it in your day job, but you also moonlight as well, right? So if people want to follow along with you on social media and see maybe some of your own projects, I know right now, I think is it fully wrapped up now? The beautiful deck and the, or is there still? The structure's there and the deck boards are on, so we're able to enjoy it now. I saw the hammock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm all about hammocks. I love them. So I got like different spots I can hang it up on the pavilion. But yeah, I still got to put the roof on. I still got to do the electrical and build like the island in the bar and
nice. Okay,
yeah,
you're going all out.
I'm putting an outdoor kitchen too, so I got the plumb put in. Drains and water lines.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm gonna put like a bar fridge and everything. Eventually, like I've spent way more money than I probably should have, but I'm super thrilled with how it turned out.
And so if people want to follow along on social media, where should they do so?
I'm on Instagram at the Vagabonding Carpenter. Basically means I love to travel and I love carpentry. So I kind of mix the two together. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Cool, no problem.